Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our reaction and review for The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 7. This is the finale, and of course, there was inevitably going to be a lot packed into this episode, and lo and behold, that proved to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really shocking end for me. We haven't played the game, so
Yeah.
we don't know what is coming up or what is happening. We know that there will obviously be more of this show, but I mean, that ending, I just don't know how Ellie gets out of this unless Tommy does some sort of barrel roll and grabs his gun and takes care of everything. It was so shocking.
It was a really, really good cliffhanger. I mean, we're lucky to know that they've already renewed the show for a season 3. So it's like, okay, we don't really have to worry about that. Though how the storytelling works in season 3, entirely different question because it seems like we're flashing back a little bit.
Yeah, and it feels like maybe next season is going to be more on Abby and that group, which is something that I had said I wanted to see more of this season to kind of understand the inner workings of that group and sort of how they've come together. And seems like maybe I'll get some of that backstory next season. But this is really a weird spot for me because they killed Joel. So I'm kind of sitting here being like, will they kill Ellie too? Sure. It seems like that is something that this show is not afraid to do.
Yeah, I think they've really left the door open for them to do just about anything. And I think just looking at this from a TV standpoint alone, it's like that's really rare for this particular sort of world. Like we've covered shows time and time again where characters have miraculous plot armor. I mean, it's something you mentioned with June on The Handmaid's Tale not that long ago, where it's just like somehow she survives every single near-death situation known to mankind.
Yeah, and that's something that's really refreshing about The Last of Us, where it really feels like death is actually on the line. Anybody is vulnerable. We lost Joel. Joel is like was a main person on this show, a huge actor gone. And to me, that makes this one of the most exciting shows out there where they have a cliffhanger like this. And I'm like, yeah, she could actually just be gone. Could
Yeah.
could they kill off both of their leads? Yeah, this show just takes no prisoners.
Yeah, and that's great. I will say by and large, I think this was a really, really good finale. I have one thing that's in my craw, but it's not just about this finale. It's kind of like a big picture, this whole season sort of deal. But I enjoyed what they delivered here. I thought it was like that right mixture of action and intensity and good character stuff. It didn't shortchange one thing for the sake of the other, and I'm very grateful about that.
Very good. Very good character stuff. That whole scene with Mel and Ellie, like it was just so emotional. The show was very emotional for it
Yeah.
being about basically zombies.
Yeah, well, we have a lot more to get into here, but before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yeah, I know The Last of Us is over. It's very sad. We are all in it. Our feelings, who knows when this show's going to come back. But you already have HBO Max, and I don't care when they're officially changing the name back to that. I'm just going to start calling it that already. But we are in the midst of covering Duster, which is this really fun, action-packed, just car-drenched thrill ride with Josh Holloway from Lost. It's already in the midst of airing. We highly suggest you check that out. And I mean, moving into the summer, we've got Dexter Resurrection, we've got Alien Earth. So if it's like you really enjoy the sort of dark, twisted sort of entertainment, we are going to be bringing the goods.
Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. It really helps us here at the channel. I mean, we've been doing this a really long time, and it's been really exciting to watch our channel grow, and it's because of you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
We're also covering Murderbot and Criminal Minds Evolution over on our Patreon. It's the only place that you're able to get those video reviews. So if you're interested in either of those shows or just helping to support us here at the channel, you can join our Patreon, and I'll leave a link for you below.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate that. Okay, you mentioned zombies earlier, so let's just go ahead and get the beef ad on. This is not a huge beef, but I just feel like let's get it out of the way now. Has The Last of Us already gotten bored with the fact that it is a zombie show? Because I'm sitting here looking at these past 4 episodes, and it's just sort of like, yeah, maybe when we had that horde, I guess, in episode 2, and we've got a little bit of clickers and bloaters here and there, but it just feels like ever since we got to Seattle, they've basically just been like, Like, they don't really care that much about it anymore. It's like, okay, we got the scars, we got the wolves, we don't really need zombies anymore.
And it completely makes sense to me. Like, it would be cool to see a little more of the infected. I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of where Nora ended up and all of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're in a place that they have basically taken over. They've cleared out everything the best that they can. They're a pretty big operation at this point. I would be more surprised if it was like, oh, yeah, we've really settled in here into this Costco. Shout out to Costco. That was so cute. I was just like, oh, you guys are setting up shop at a Costco? Same. I would absolutely be living in the Costco. But, anyways,
Yeah.
I just thought it makes sense. They have set up shop in Seattle. They've been there quite a while. It feels like they would have done multiple sweeps to clean out the town the best that they can, and then just, keep it bordered off the best that they can. So I would be more surprised if it's like, oh, they're still infected running around everywhere. I'd be like, guys, you guys are bad at your job. So even though I'd like to see more, I get it.
Yeah, it's an interesting back and forth to have because I think the irony in The Walking Dead going on as long as it has, it's just that it's very hard to do a compelling zombie related show for a long period of time because it's kind of a situation where once you understand the zombies, it's hard to really get that attached to any conflict revolving around them.
Well, yeah, I mean, with The Walking Dead, they kind of, yeah, it was a big threat at the beginning, but once they figured out how to deal with them, they were just kind of a nuisance in the background. They weren't really a threat anymore. And here, they still feel like they're a threat, but because they're in Seattle, I mean, why would there still be infected running around?
No, it makes sense given where they are. It's just something that popped into my brain while we were watching everything else, including the Costco, which, by the way, you can very much have.
Thank you.
I get claustrophobic in Costco. Let me know, all you other Costco claustrophobic people, let me know in the comments. There's always a million people in there.
The samples are so delicious.
The samples are delicious, but there are other places you can get samples that don't feel like you have somebody right behind you just like breathing into your neck all the time because it's like, okay. The story of this episode, this is where it really shines.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole point of view change at the very, very end, like I expected we would get more of Abby's story in some shape or form, but I did not expect that we were actually going to get a tease of that capacity. I just thought we were doing, this isn't full Sopranos ending by any means, but it's still that whole cut to black, you don't really know what happened. I just thought you were going to play the credits at that moment.
I did as well. I wasn't expecting to see her wake up, and I was like, was this all a dream? Is this where they're going with this? This is Dallas all over again? And no, we're going back a few days, so we got things from Ellie and Dina and Jesse and Tommy, and we've seen it from their point of view from day one, to day 3 or wherever we are now. But we haven't seen it from the other side yet. And it's, Abby is waking up. It is day 1 of the same journey, except we're seeing it from their side. And I'm really excited for this. I know everybody hates Abby. I don't like Abby either, but I am interested to see more of that side of things, especially from where Ellie is coming out of this particular episode, because she was talking about what happened with Nora, that she got some information, but she had to do things to get that information, and she doesn't feel good about it. And I was like, okay, this feels like my revenge tale is going to go sideways here because she is feeling really badly about it. Dina's even like, oh, well, they deserve it. And Ellie's like, did she deserve it? Did she deserve it? I don't know, right? Like, Ellie is somebody who wants to have revenge, but when she gets there, I don't know that that's really in her, and she doesn't know that it's really in her. So I was kind of like, is this going to be foreshadowing that she's going to get to Abby and not be able to do it?
I think what Ellie might be starting to realize in this episode is just that there's no real satisfaction from anything that you do when it comes to having this line of thinking where it's like you might be able to say, all right, this is done and dusted. I can move forward. I have my quote unquote closure, but what all gets caught up along the way? Like, what wreckage are you leaving behind? And that's kind of the big theme of this show in a way, where Joel was so desperate to save Ellie that he ended up doing all of these other things and committing all of these horrible acts and end up hurting somebody like Abby, who then, is able to get her revenge, but at what expense? Like at the expense of her humanity, at the expense of traumatizing these other people. And it's the moment in this episode that really stood out to me here with Ellie is what happened to Mel, who was one of the
Mhm.
few people who really was trying to be like, okay, let's just slow your roll a little bit, to Abby at a certain point in this season. And this is also somebody who is pregnant, so it's really shining a light on the sentiment that Ellie might be feeling towards Dina. And so these other people are just getting caught up in the consequences of her own actions.
Yeah, everything really building up to this moment where she comes up to Mel and Owen and overhears about Abby. Like, everything that happened with Nora, I thought was going to kind of move her in a bit of a different direction. It kind of did for a second, where they're like, okay, we're going to get everybody and we're going to go.
Yeah.
This is enough. We're all going to go. But then as things were kind of starting to roll out, and she was like, no, you know what? I am still going to go for the Abby of it all. I think it's just she's unable to understand and handle her own revenge. And I think that that's a story that doesn't get told very often.
Mhm.
We see a lot of really great revenge stories. I love good revenge stories, but you don't really see it from this perspective of somebody who's just not a hardened killer or out there to kill Bill kind of thing. I'm just going to mark everybody off my revenge list as I go along, sort of thing. She's not that. She's, a really young woman who feels terrible about what's happened, what she saw in front of her own eyes of Joel, and is looking for some sort of revenge because she doesn't know how to deal with her grief. But watching her go back and forth sort of inside herself of what happened with Nora, did she deserve it? Should she have done this? And then facing Owen and Mel, where she's said, and I believe her honestly, show me where Abby is and I will just walk out of here. It will be just fine. I believe her. Obviously, Owen didn't, and he went for the gun, and we
Yeah.
ended up in this situation where both of them ended up dead. But that's not something that I think Ellie may or may not have been able to actually do. Like, let's say
Yeah.
he didn't reach for the gun and he was like, I'm just not going to show you.
Yeah.
Was Ellie going to be able to do this a second and third time? Like, she did it with Nora, but she did not feel right about it.
No, and I think she's probably evolving and changing as things go along here. The best kind of crude analogy that I can come up with as I'm sort of thinking a lot about this show is this idea that Ellie is sort of created her own guidebook to revenge, the way in which to best properly conduct revenge under my terms. And I think she is expecting that everyone else she's coming into contact with will have read her book and understand that these are the rules and that's okay. But they're sort of like, oh, my understanding is that the book of revenge means that you're going to take out everybody. Like Owen's reading clearly a different book than her. It's sort of like, as a categories player from my youth, I am very lenient when it comes to how people are going to get points. I'm just sort of like,
You are very lenient.
it is just like, if you can come up and conduct a dance that you just made up in your head, as long as you do the dance, I will give you the point for it. And that's okay because that's my rule book and it's more fun that way. But it's just
And
like,
you just wanted the point because you couldn't come up with a dance that starts with O.
octopus. No, it's,
And you got the point.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
No,
you're
but this is the thing. It's like you want to come up with this idea, like these are your rules, and you just hope that everybody else is going to be okay to follow your rules. But clearly, Owen is either a very hardcore categories player who does not reward dancing, or he has been around other people who do not. So he's, of course, going to make the assumption that he is just going to be taken out and he's never going to believe Ellie. And I think that's something because of Ellie's age. She doesn't really have the self-awareness to understand.
Yeah, and I think it was really important that we did have that Mel was pregnant in all of this, because this episode was really about a lot about pregnancy,
Yeah.
where Jesse has figured out that Dina is pregnant. She hasn't told him yet, but he could figure it out. And, Jesse and then Ellie are kind of dealing with it, where Jesse's like, yeah, I'm going to be a dad. Ellie's like, yeah, but I'm also going to be involved. Like, we're all going to have to figure out how to make this work. Jesse's very protective over Jackson Hole, the people that are in it. He was saying, I was sort of born and bred to be able to just take care of this group of people no matter what. It's my obligation. I feel obligated to do it, and I want to do it, and I'm going to do it. I need to get my kid out of here. And so then seeing Ellie in this position where Mel is dying and is like, help me, help me help you. Like, let's figure this out together. Here's this knife, help me out. And Ellie's just not able to do it. And I understand why. It's a huge ask. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
Mel's not directing her very well because she's dying. She doesn't want to, make things worse. And she ends up not doing it. And I think it's something that is going to help move her forward as well with all of this, where they were kind of like, okay, we need to get out of here. We're packing it up. We are getting out of here. And I think at that point, Ellie was like, yes, it is time. I have done enough. I'm going to have to live with the fact that Abby just got away with it. I've now killed these 3 other people. It's the way that it is. And I include Nora because Nora might as well be dead.
Okay, this is really the thing that I like the most about The Last of Us in a lot of ways. It's like, all right, we have this world where there's all these sort of terrible things going on, and you're just having to adapt to it day by day. And they're not making Ellie into John Wick, because that would be very, very annoying to me. And I'm not saying that the John Wick movies are annoying. I'm just saying that Ellie is somebody who is very, very young, who's only like recently started to do more jujitsu and more like fight training and like all of that. She's not going to be able to go on some sort of elaborate killing tour and be like completely numb to it and just be okay. I also like that she's not MacGyver. She's not able to just like a CBS procedural, the situation where Mel is dying and she's able to just run over there and fix her. Like, she's a human who has a lot of problems, who does things that occasionally annoy me, but also does things that I very, very much understand. Like, I like to feel all these emotions, and the show has just done a really, really good job of reflecting that in her.
Also, I found it really interesting how hurt Abby seemed to be that Ellie was wasting her life. And I was just like, what is going on
Yeah.
with you? You're so arrogant. Where she's just like, yeah, I killed your adoptive father, but I let you live. How dare you waste that opportunity that I gave you? I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, Abby, no, this is not it. This is like Serena on the train lecturing everyone about Gilead when the mob is about to kill her. It's
Yeah.
just like, this is not the time for this. You let her live and she's wasting her life, and this is what you're gonna do while you just killed Jesse. You're about to kill Tommy. You're about to kill her. It's just like, this is the lecture.
Yeah.
How dare you waste the opportunity I gave you? You're so lucky.
Okay, this is
Abby.
add this to the list of reasons why I hate Abby so much. I know that there are some people that are like, oh, Abby is complicated, and that may be true.
She is complicated. I'm one of the people that's like, Abby is complicated. Absolutely. Joel killed her dad. She's on a revenge tour for 5 years. I understand it, but I still don't like her.
I still hate Abby. I still hope Abby has a terrible sleep every day for the rest of her life, and that there's like some dog barking outside her window and she can never get the dog to be quiet, and she's just like, meh. But here's why.
It sounds like my dog.
Okay, Coco is adorable. Coco would never do such a thing.
She's a sleep stealer.
She is a sleep stealer. No, Abby is just, I hate her for the obvious reasons, but I also hate her because she is sort of the embodiment of these people who you run across on social media sometimes, who always have the moral high ground, no matter what argument you have, where it's just like, oh, I use the right amount of cream in my coffee. You don't do that. You're doing it wrong. Everything about her is so superior, and it is so frustrating in order to watch her. Like, I understand her need for vengeance. Like, I'm always going to get that part of the character. I absolutely loathe the way in which she went about it. I'm never going to defend that. I'm never going to understand that. But it is even still, at this point, how can you be surprised that you do something like that in front of Ellie, and then Ellie is going to want to do something about it? And yeah, she may feel a certain way about the things that Joel did, but is she really just going to be like, All right, well, this is all settled now. I guess we're all even.
Listen, everybody has feelings about what Joel did.
Yeah.
Ellie doesn't feel that great that he did that. Dina's now found out about it, and she doesn't feel that great that she didn't know about it. Abby, of course, doesn't like it because her dad got killed. Nobody really likes what Joel did except Joel, and
Yeah.
that's fine. But, Joel's not around anymore because of what he did. But everybody's feeling a certain way about it. But the fact that Abby is just pretty much straight up, I got my revenge and Joel got what he deserved, and what you're doing is wrong. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be doing it. I gave you an opportunity to have life.
Yeah.
You messed it up, and now you're gonna die because of it. I was just like, who are you to choose?
Yeah, and other thing here is that who are you to suddenly be like the chosen one of the wolves? Like, we got this thing with Isaac early on in this episode where we kind of learn more and more that's like, okay, Abby is the one, and I'm sitting here and being like, why? Is it because she constantly feels she's so morally superior to everyone else? Other than being good at killing Joel, I haven't really seen any other skills that she brings to the table.
Yeah, that's why I'm very curious going into this next season what it is that makes her someone that Isaac feels like should be the next leader, because she spent so many years just focused on hunting down Joel and wasted everybody's time so that one person, she can get revenge on this and then just go back to everything and then kind of be like, oh, Ellie, now you're here for revenge. It should have been more like the bride on Kill Bill, where she went, she killed the first person and was just like to the daughter, I know you're feeling raw about this. I'll see you when you're older and you want revenge. I'll totally understand. I'll see you when you're ready for that. And that's the way it should be. You came and killed her adoptive father, and you think she's just gonna be like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you for letting me live. I'm just gonna take this life and do my best with it. Like, stop it.
Yeah, this is admittedly the biggest problem that I have now going into season 3. It's just because I hate Abby to every fabric of my being, where it's just like, I don't know if you guys moving forward are going to try to do this whole Abby sympathy tour where I'm supposed to understand her more and it's all about to be more complicated. It's like, yeah, sure. I'll watch her go about her day. I'll see what her relationship is with Isaac. I'll see maybe she's brought up to think and act this way, but it's still not going to make me like her. It's not going to make me want to sit back and be like, who I want to see make it through The Last of Us alive. I am just sort of sitting here and being like, okay, yeah, it's good to get more backstory, but do I need a whole season of it? And maybe we're not getting a whole season of it. It just kind of feels that way right now.
I will take a whole season of it. I really like when we get villain backstories, really rich backstories, like Wilson Fisk or Darth Vader, like people that are just baddies and you still don't like them, but you get more of a, okay, I can see why they're doing what they're doing or how they got to this point, that this is their villain origin story. How did you get here? Okay, I get it now. I still don't like you, but I get it now. It's more fun for me to be able to sort of see the different sides or see how they got to be this terrible person.
Okay. Another big question for everyone out there. Did they do Jesse dirty? Because I kind of feel like they did. It was like we spent 2 hours watching Joel die, basically. And it was just like, Jesse, like, okay, I guess Jesse's gone now. And I guess we're just moving right along and no attention given to Jesse, who I'm not sitting here and being like, I'm caping for Jesse. He's my favorite character ever. But it is just like, he's the father of Dina's unborn kid. He's kind of important, and it just feels like you rushed through this.
Yeah, I mean, I was glad that we got a little more backstory on him, and the back and forth sort of two people who both love Dina, that are both involved in this relationship, that are both involved with this kid, and how that's all kind of going to work, and how Jesse actually feels about everything, because he has been just left in the dark with a lot of it. But I will say that I did like that it was quick, that it was just because this is Abby. Abby is just going to come in and do this, like, not with Joel, because that's revenge. But she doesn't mess about, where it's kind of like, yeah, she's just, as soon as he comes in, gone. Okay, who's next? This person on the ground. I don't care who you are, but I feel like I'm, in danger. And that's the way that it would be. So it felt real.
I think it did feel real. I think
Too real.
I'm just still scarred by
So
Joel
real.
that
I
we're gonna
know.
spend so long on it, and then Jesse's just like, okay, you're gone.
I
Now,
know.
the other characters, I mean, left in this cliffhanger, like, I'll just say for me, I really hope that both Tommy and Ellie are around moving forward,
Yes.
just because it's like, we've already lost Joel, we've already lost Jesse. Once again, not caping for Jesse, but it's just like, we've already lost two of the larger male characters on this show at this point, and Tommy is a really interesting character, and he's a reflection of Joel, and it's like, I don't want to see him gone, and I also don't want to see Ellie gone. Yeah, they could take her out, but it's just like, are we just going to cycle through all the main characters so that, I don't know if we're getting Last of Us season 6, but this is my joke. We're going to have a season 6, and it's going to be about one of the Scars who is in a background of a scene, and because we've killed off every other main character. It's just like, I don't really need to go on that ride.
Okay, as I said, we don't know what
Yeah.
happens in the game, so this is like a tinfoil hat.
All
I
right.
just feel like Ellie is not going to die, but that because the gun has been moved off of Tommy, that it's either going to be Tommy is going to grab his gun and deal with it and shoot Abby, whether dead or not. I don't think dead, probably just kind of wounded, whatever. I think that either it's going to be Tommy or it's going to be Dina, that Dina's going to hobble her way out there and is going to take care of business, because it feels more like Ellie is going to get some sort of satisfaction or some sort of just being able to let it go. I feel like she's not actually going to kill Abby, and I don't know why. It's just kind of like in my gut, the way that they've set this episode up, where she's really struggling with it, that she's just not going to be able to go through with it, and that it's either going to have to be somebody else is going to take her out, or she's going to be wounded and then she's going to be like, I let you live, that kind of thing.
I don't think she's going to kill Abby at this point, unless it's a situation where she really feels like she doesn't have that much of a choice. But I also,
Yeah, or she feels like, oh, well, then Abby's going to be hunting me now
Yeah.
for 5 years.
I don't think they're going to rush it though at this point, because I know they've renewed the show officially for a season 3, but I've seen these headlines over this last week where it's like, oh, we actually will probably need a season 4 in order to finish this story, which is just mostly funny to me, because it's like, okay, you told the story of the first game in 1 season, and now you need 3 seasons to tell the story.
That's right. Money, 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 money. You
Yeah.
didn't realize how popular it was going to be, and you guys did the whole season, first game in 1, and now you're like, oh man, we only have 1 other game. Let's stretch it out.
Yeah.
This season will be 7 episodes. Next season will be 3 episodes, and the 4th episode we might have 2.
If the 3rd season is 3 episodes, I'm going to lose my mind. I am going to sit here and be like, you made me wait 2 years for this nonsense. I say this thinking it's going to be another 2 years, but I do think we've been left off here in a really good place where there's potential to obviously develop more Abby, but also sort of showcase these relationships, and also showcase, like, how can you really do all this when there are clearly bigger problems going on in Seattle? And
Yeah.
once again, we have a little bit of a glimpse of the Scars in this episode. We're still, I don't actually understand them, and I still kind of want to get a better grounding of that, and maybe that's a part of season 3 as well.
Yeah, I need to know more of what is going on here. I need to know why. I know Isaac kind of gave this like yada yada over it a few episodes ago, where it's like, yeah, we did this, you did this, we did this. Who cares where it started? This is where we are now. I'm like, well, I care where it
Yeah.
started, Isaac. I need to know why you guys are doing these types of things to each other. The Scars are doing horrible things. You guys are doing horrible things. We watched something happen to a Scar, and then we almost watched horrible things happen to Ellie, and she's not even part of it.
Yeah, I just need a little bit more backstory on the world, the lore. Like, that's the biggest reason why I get annoyed about these short seasons. And it's just like, we need more time to develop and understand, but maybe some of that will be coming. That is just where we are leaving off The Last of Us season 2. This was a very fun journey, as it was in season 1. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We also appreciate you guys not spoiling things along
Yeah,
the way.
thank you.
I know it can be hard when you're watching somebody who hasn't played the games and you have just like, I can't wait. I want them to talk about this and this. But no, we really appreciate that, and we
Yeah, you
appreciate.
guys have been really good. Like, really, truly, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our coverage of Duster and everything we have coming up this summer with Dexter Resurrection, Alien Earth.
Mhm.
Support us further, join our Patreon. We have a link in the description below. We're covering there exclusively in video form Criminal Minds Evolution, Murderbot. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.